Hi, everyone. I'm Cheryl,
I'm April, and
and together
together
we
we
are
are
the
the
Other
other
Duck.
duck.
We're
We're back.
back.
Welcome to our podcast. Here you'll hear stories of reflection, reunion, and revival.
Since 2007, the Other Duck has always been about bringing people together, creative self expression, artistic collaboration. And over a decade later, this podcast is our way of reconnecting with the community that raised us, the dancers, the dreamers, the misfits, the makers. We're sharing where life has taken us, what we've learned, what we've unlearned, and who we've become.
And we're opening the doors wide for you, our OG Other Duck fam, to join us, tell your stories, and celebrate the growth, glow ups, plot twists, and rebirths of today.
Let's dive in. Oh, today I have the utmost privilege to introduce such a close friend, Austin Fernandez. And who he was back then is only a glimmer of who he has become now, which I'm so excited for him to be able to share his story with us. Back then, he started off on Team Millennia and then Burrito CLA and then Box Cutters and then Mischief Makers and KM Legacy, and finally Culture Shock Los Angeles. Not only is he a dance superstar, he's this multi-talented, multifaceted artist who really kind of expressed himself inside of fashion as well. So we're very, very excited to hear about his transition and his incorporation of dance and fashion and events and all the things that he was just very, very known in the dance industry for. So welcome, Austin.
Thank you so much, April and Cheryl, for inviting me on the Other Duck Rebirth podcast. Honestly, it's been a pleasure to reconnect with you guys and, as old friends and seeing where we are at today in our journey in this life that we're in. It's an honor to kind of sit back and reflect where we were and where we're going. So thank you guys so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Austin. And I can still recall one of my first moments meeting you. Alabon took me to Jeff Veray's
Class.
You Make Me Happy. And this was pre-YouTube. We even directed together, tried to do crazy things in our dance journey as directors together.
Yep.
But why don't you tell us how you got plugged in with the Other Duck? You and Cheryl, what were your first projects? Take us back to the beginning so that we can learn about your story.
Just take it back, right?
Take it back.
Honestly, thank you, April, for opening up Jeff Ray's class. When I was literally as I was reflecting and thinking about like our first interactions. Yes, I definitely remember that class. And also with Cheryl, I think our first time meeting each other was when she first went back to Breed back in 2006. We just so happened to click so quickly. And
It's
I think
because of this.
yes, we are the OC Club, which
Yep.
is the only child, only crew.
Yes.
Yes. Do it because we were only children, and we just kind of bonded on how we were brought up and how we are as people and how we interact with people. And I think that's something that um we connected with. And me being on Breed, being the youngest member on Breed at 17, 18 at the time. Cheryl was kind of like, as well as all the other members on the team, were like older brothers and sisters to me. So I was definitely gracious enough and blessed to be a part of a generation and a time where I was with so many amazing dancers that have come from that team, that era of members that have branched off to be amazing creators and creatives and choreographers.
Yeah, that was an era. Like when you think back about it, on it, it was a golden era. Like there's something very special about that time and the community at that time. And I mean, I don't know the new community now, and it would be great to hear the people who are still plugged in, but there was something very special about that time frame, like 2005, till like 2015 time. There's just the community had like a pulse to it.
I, as we were living through that time, I feel like there was an unfiltered perspective that we had no pressures of social media, of having to try to show ourselves our best foot forward online. where we were actually just living it. Just to shout out some of the people that were from that time, we had like Gigi Torres, Twitch, Ricky Cole, Candace Brown, and then all the community members that were directors of all these numerous community teams. So to be a young kid in that world of 21 plus year olds at that time, I definitely had to grow up pretty quickly. But I think that was meant to happen because those kind of, how do you say this, mature mindset made me approach life in a different way than maybe a younger 17-year-old at that time was going through. So I take a lot of those memories and those learnings with dance, being a human and connection with other people to heart, and definitely you know, a core representation of who I am today. So yeah.
I can't,
Love it.
I forget how young you were in that time.
Yeah. As I was like, thinking about my early Other Duck days I was like, damn, I actually did a lot. Like I was there in all those photo shoots and those book times that you were creating. I was modeling on the runway for you when we had those Other Duck collections that you premiered in Avalon. And also to selling t-shirts at your booths when you did have performances, slanging shirts to the people. So it was cool to know that like I had a touch in different parts of the Other Duck.
That's so crazy too, because you think about what you're doing now and you work for Louis
Yeah.
Vuitton, right? And
Yeah.
just to think, 20 years later, 20-ish years later, you're in fashion. And like, did you think you'd be there, you know? Yeah.
Honestly, well, currently I work as like a visual stylist and merchandising manager for Louis Vuitton Americas. I oversee one of the biggest flagships in all of Americas to be able to work with high seasonal activations as well as events all over Southern California. It's cool to see how the Other Duck actually was really a first introduction to fashion. Um, One of my biggest memories that I've had with Cheryl and the Other Duck was when I was going to school at the Fashion Institute of Design and Merchandising in LA, I would walk across to Cheryl's apartment, which was across the street from my campus, just to visit her and just to see like what's up. So it's cool to know that I had someone actually working in the industry, creating her own line, working with Adidas at the time. You definitely were, Cheryl, were a staple of someone who's, really working in the industry. And now to look back, I'm actually doing it, and doing it at such a high level that I didn't never have thought I would have probably gotten here at this point. So I really want to recall my first The Other Duck experience that I've had in the past, Cheryl, that I think you don't realize was, again, a big impact on me was when I first saw your headquarters. I think you toured me to your headquarters. And again, seeing your patterns all laid out, seeing images of all your models and the inspiration behind your collections to your downstairs basement and all the stock and inventory that was like there. It was cool to pick your brain at that time and see how it works. I only associated fashion through the Fashion Network on TV. So to be able to know someone is thriving and doing that in her own way and actually making a face and a known story for herself is important. I got to see your perspective of that in fashion.
Thank you. I mean, that was a really awesome office space, though. I got to say, I miss it so much.
To see your apartment was like a blast of color and like print and figurines and like all that. Like I was like, wow, this girl's creative. Like she's artistic. She loves all this stuff. It was cool to see someone really in her own lane. And I think something that maybe you don't give yourself so much credit of who you are today is like you were that person, Cheryl. Like you were that person that was like such in her own. There was an aura about you that was so cool and different than everyone else. And I think that's why the Other Ducks stuck with so many people at that time, because the message behind it was who are you as the other person and how you could really live into that space. It kind of paved the way for me to be like, wait, there's no right or wrong or having to stop dancing in order to pursue a career. I was still doing it for the love of both worlds. And I think that's what makes me my own Other Duck, me my own self, and me my own creative.
It's almost like the butterfly effect. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? That you don't realize how these friendships and the relationships will change or impact you 20 years later. Then you look back and you're like, shit, like
Yeah.
this was such a pivotal moment.
And I
So
must throw it back to you, April, too. Like, I go back to the events and we were so young and we had no resources at that time. And we were creating something out of nothing with the KML after party event.
I just have to say that
Yeah.
yes, even though you were young and you were introduced into the community at a young age, you have definitely surpassed a lot of us in the just in the excellence of what you do and who you are.
Thank you.
It's like it's
I
a proud
appreciate that.
moment. Yeah.
And, you know, you don't really realize the small journeys and steps that you take to get to kind of where you're at, and if not further after this point. But I actually got to see a firsthand look, not to just see what fashion is on the surface, but understand the business. And I think that's something I hold deeply in my role now at Louis Vuitton. It's not about what you see, it's about how we're creating the business behind all of the aesthetic to create a lifestyle, to create a brand that really inspires not just one demographic, but the whole world at the same time. So yeah.
I think it's so fitting that Austin is our first guest today.
Yeah.
So
Cheryl, really, you were maybe one of the first people that I got to work with and see do that. So, which kind of stems into what me and April did down the line when we were on KM Legacy. And as directors, we wanted to change and create a space for dancers to come together, a community, celebration versus just a show, but more of a space where people could socialize with the people that they're seeing on stage. And was successful at the time. People were talking about it. We were creating marketing strategies. We were doing deals with an event space, outreaching to these different dance teams to how to make our name known, to be able to juggle all these different things. For me, it's like I've been there, done that. I ultimately know bringing people together, bringing spaces together, whether it is dance or whether it is creative, is important to me no matter what. I'm just trying to find different ways and different mediums to associate myself with. I also look back, it's all those long drives and commutes to these dance rehearsals isn't thrown away. It's not something that, it's a waste. These are all networking opportunities that I now have today. If I ever need to pull, a photographer for this event or a DJ from over here or dancers for this specific event or creators to help publicize something. I know that my network of people is only something that is going to be deeper and different than everyone else that I work with.
I'm really present too. Like just from listening to you, I can see why we clicked back then so easily. Like
Mm,
we're on that same path. We have the same vision. Like it's not that you inherited this vision from me or anything like that. Like you already had it. It's innate. And we share the same passion of creating experiences for people to bring people together. Like April is such a crucial part of this whole thing as well. And so when I get to look at your three faces right now, I can only imagine how I feel like I'd actually cry if we were in person
mm,
because I really cherish this connection that we have. It's really showing me that it's it transcends time.
yeah.
It's been
Hmm.
20 years. I'm in a different country now and like we don't see each other very often, but when we get the opportunity to reconnect like this and really just kind of talk about what was important to us then and how it's still important to us now and we've lived life and we're still coming back to it because it's kind of our heart mission. It's really
It's
I guess
special. Like,
touching. It is special.
it's definitely special. And that to me transcends the art. It transcends the creation. It transcends the dance. Like,
it speaks to the power of sharing our interests with others and not being afraid to express ourselves and our
yeah.
passions with others and to share in creating things together.
And no
Yeah.
judgment with that. I think that's what's so cool about our space in the dance community. I don't know how it is now, but I definitely think at that time there was no social media, so we really didn't have the pressures of having to post or how cool we look on a video. But it was more so how do we do our best in that time? How do we do our best in that space? How do we create the best thing forward? And
I guess we're kind of leading into the next
yeah,
section. So, the first question for the next segment is when you hear the word rebirth, what's the very first image or feeling that comes to your mind?
I think something that resonated with me today is the idea of like a butterfly. And the reason why I say butterfly, to not get too deep, but my grandma passed away last year, and I actually just got back from the Philippines, which was her year anniversary. And something that I saw during her funeral services was a butterfly. But it wasn't a feeling of sadness at that time, but it was more so of a lightness, knowing that, to propel forward and not to live in deep in sorrow. So when I think of rebirth, I definitely think of a butterfly in terms of the stages that from a caterpillar to its pod to its full grown self and being able to explore life. It evolves, it peels all those layers, and you kind of go through life. Ultimately, it becomes its true self. So, yeah, like that rebirth of connecting it to my grandma's passing and to also my own rebirth. I do feel like I'm like a butterfly, still growing, but I know that there's so much to life, but also how do we live life now? You know, how do we experience life now and not let it pass you?
Maybe your grandma was telling you that she's going to be there for you in all your stages as
Yeah.
you evolve. Your
Yeah.
grandma being there to kind of watch you through, even though she may not be physically present there. So,
No, yeah. Thank you.
yeah.
The great thing about butterflies too, it's great that you mentioned it. It's like it's to do with the struggle. The harder they struggle in the cocoon, the bigger their wings when they come out. And so you mentioning that it's about that the willingness to go through the hard things, which then like in that cocoon, in that phase of transformation, to then have those wings that will take you as far as you want.
Yeah.
So
And it's just,
yeah,
it's fun. It's funny that the symbolism connected so deeply to me recently.
we're gonna start seeing a butterfly tattoo on him. Like the next time we see him, like a whole shoulder, arm, back piece. Like
Do you have any butterflies, Cheryl, or a duck
I have
on
20.
any of your
Okay,
body?
I have 22 butterflies tatted on my body. Yeah, 20 of them. That was the story. The more you're putting into it, the farther you fly. The
Mm,
less you put into it, the more you cut corners, like taking the easy way out. Then your wings are like super dinky and then you can't really go very far. So that was kind of the representation of it.
mm.
But yes, butterflies is a good one.
As we're talking about animals, the other duck is all about the story of the ugly duckling and the transformation and the embracing what makes you different and owning it, and you become a beautiful swan in your own unique way. So it's kind of like the
Yeah.
story of the butterfly. Now, if you think about you, Austin, how have you personally changed since your earlier days of being the other duck or of being that butterfly?
I learned to slow down. I think at that age, again,
What?
you're right. I mean,
Austin, slow down?
I've been on so many dance companies. I've been commuting always to this and that, trying to, go fight, eagerly trying to find out what's next in life, not really being able to really slow down and accept what's actually in front of us and really taking in that present life. And I think the pandemic really was a big factor in that because life, as you know, it could slip right under you and that future self that you're trying to overthink in your head may not even happen, right? When you're completely losing sight of what's right in front of you. So I think also doing the internal healing and facing those internal struggles head on personally really helped me propel forward in my adulthood and also incorporating meditation. And again, I look back at my younger self, I was always like, go, 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 go. But it hindered me from really seeing the best, what was right in front of me.
Like it took you out from being present to what was there?
100%. Like I was always like, okay, sometimes I'll be in the moment with something, but I'm already thinking of like, I already hit this choreographed piece that it did really well. What's the
What's
next piece that
next?
I'm going to put out? Or, okay, we just did this event for KM Legacy after party. What are we going to do to make it better? Sometimes that's not needed. Like, how do we enjoy the people that we were around us, the energy that we were, exchanging? Started doing like a junk journal, pretty much a journal of scrapbooking of random trash or things from a piece of paper to a wristband from a performance or little mementos around me and putting it into a notebook or into a scrapbook for myself has kind of forced me to slow down, but then also be able to reflect and look back at every little thing and brings me back to where I was and why I pulled that certain piece of trash,
Can we just recontextualize like junk into like and trash into
Measure.
maybe treasure?
Okay, yeah, I like that.
Yeah, because
A treasure book,
a treasure,
a
yeah,
treasure
I
journal.
mean, it like the junk journal sounds cool, but like it's really treasures that you know, collected over the years that really meant something to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like
So I think,
yeah,
and it's
okay.
something that like I never thought to do, but for some reason it kind of, it's also healing to take a step back and actually curate that into my own personal notebook, how I want to have things certain way and how it looks aesthetically for myself, but also knowing that in each of these pieces of treasures has a certain memory or a certain time of my life.
Did you at one point say to yourself that, hey, I need to slow down? Or was it kind of forced upon you to just because of the pandemic? Or were you like, no, I need to actually like change this about me?
I think it was definitely the pandemic was forced mentally, emotionally, physically. I think I just finished KM Legacy. I wasn't dancing for maybe a year. So that was also taking to effect of like, damn, I'm not physically moving as much as I was before. So I think something that could contest to that mindset and that change was joining Culture Shock Los Angeles. Shout out to Culture Shock Los Angeles. Not only are they an amazing company, team, and group of members that not only uplift and build the community, but they really taught me how to be intentional, not only my movement, but being intentional as a human being. And with that last 3 years that I was on the company to end my 20-year dance journey, Culture Shock came in at a time where I was really figuring myself out and was able to utilize community and speak with no filter, with no judgment. Culture Shock really opened up that door to self love and to give love in return. That was a big reason of why my personal growth got me to this path forward of slowing down.
There is something so special and unique about Culture Shock LA. On the outside looking in, you can tell that it's a special group, but when you're inside of it, it's definitely a different kind of experience. And the energy that everyone brings in is just so, it makes your heart full.
Yeah.
Warm?
Just,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. It's such a incredible community, I think, to be a part of, even as an older dancer because you're dancing for a different reason.
Mhm.
People are coming in with intention, like you said.
And what I love about Culture Shock is Culture Shock's always trying to push the boundary forward to the new generation. Let's take it back to me, 17-year-old Austin, joining Breed for the first time and seeing all these older people. I've been teaching kids for 20 years, and I really think it's important to give back in as best way possible. If because you could be the best dancer or best creative all you want, but if you don't know how to share your ideas or really inspire the next generation, then to me it's a waste. So Culture Shock holds such great value because they're great people, and that's something that I could never take back in my last 20 years. So shout out to Culture Shock. I'm truly blessed that I was able to spend my last 3 years on an amazing company, and I will always root for you guys.
Yeah,
It's so
that's
important to find like people that your heart just connects with and feels safe with in such a what can be a toxic place. I think dance and entertainment can be such a toxic place.
do you think
100%.
it's actually not a common thing? I guess we've all had that privilege of having that kind of heart to heart connection with so many people in the community that I feel like it's almost like everyone would have it. But maybe
Mhm.
in reality, that's not a very, I don't know. Is it not like, is it a common kind of connection that everyone has, or is it actually something that we really shouldn't take for granted? I don't know.
I also think that outside of our dance world, people don't have those connections as what we experience in the community. The amount of shared spaces of physical movement and dance, but also creation and curation is so important. So I definitely think that different companies run differently, right? So they have their own way of connecting. Culture Shock has a completely different way of going about things. And I hope a lot of teams and companies really take look in that because with this generation of dance, sometimes I feel like it's too much for the clout. It's
Mm.
too much. It's too much for show. Or how you look on social media, and I'm sometimes it doesn't really matter. Really doesn't really matter because at the end of the day, those people don't matter that are online, but the people that are you're surrounding yourself with is just as important. So
Yeah. Austin, you talked about how you've changed, you're slowed down. If you could go back to one other duck moment in your past that still vibrates in you, is there one moment and what is it?
There definitely is one moment, and it was the first time I had to model for Cheryl for her clothing line at Avalon. It
Monologic.
was a huge
All
event.
black.
Yeah, it was a
Yes.
huge event. Like it was my first time, one, modeling down a runway, two, seeing your whole start to finish process and being able to take that in to be like, wow, this is what it is, what it takes to do all this creating, designing and events and putting all that together. It's like what people see on the end of the finish line is a completely different story of what you're seeing behind closed doors. And I was really nervous because you were asking me if I wanted to model, and I was kind of like, I don't know, I've never
And then
done
I
this
was like,
before.
you're gonna
No, you're
slay.
doing
I
it. You're
I
gonna do
already
it.
know it.
So I
You're
was
gonna
like,
do it. You're gonna be so good at it.
so I remember that there's like a mirror right by the stage, and I was like standing there getting ready, and I was like, am I gonna do this? Like, am I really gonna do this? But it was cool to be with other dancers and, people who I knew that helped kind of make the whole experience a lot more easier.
Wow,
Love.
yeah.
We're
Love
gonna have
it.
to bring back that. Do you have footage from that event, Cheryl?
I think it's like on YouTube at like 280p or like whatever's
Uh,
less than 280.
Not 280 instead.
we can get into the next segment. It's the burn and becoming. Was there ever a moment where you felt creatively dead? And if so, what sparked you back to creativity?
How I felt creatively dead was actually when I ended my 20-year dance community 2 years ago. We ended on such a high note at Culture Shock where we did our immersive show, which is a silent disco, self-led experience, curated experience with the people as well as the dancers, and to leave on such a really, really high, big note to completely not dancing anymore or seeing the people who I truly loved on a weekly basis and doing those self-led intentional healings that we did during our rehearsal. It kind of caught me off guard. And I actually went to a music festival in San Francisco with a few of my culture shock friends, and it just hit me like a brick wall. Like I was crying, and not necessarily, not that I can't dance anymore, but just knowing that that journey has ended, and what is there left of me?
It's almost like a withdrawal, right? Like you're on this high and it's your identity for so long and you're known for that and you're celebrated for that. And then it's gone. And it's not even it's like this emptiness, right?
To the point that my family will be like, the first thing that they ask me is like, "Oh, are you still dancing?" Like that's the first question they always ask me, is the fact that they associate me with dance. So that's where I felt most dead. But what I've learned in that, road stop of my dance journey, it was needed. I needed to stop. I knew within myself that I was done. So when it stopped, I realized I had to search for it. I think that's where I'm at now, is creatively trying to tap into different things. Like I took a pottery class. That was fun to create something in a different way. This last year, I actually worked on a stage play for my friend Chanel Wang, which the stage play was called Peerless by Jihei Park. Never did costuming for a stage play, and I thought that was such a challenge to be able to read a whole script and create my own vision for these actors. I'm also creative directing for one of my friends who's an artist and she's a singer. So to be able to be her kind of creative director in her movement and choreography, again, a different medium of not just with a dance team or myself dancing, but looking at someone in her art and her music and creating movement to that. So I I don't think creativity will ever leave me. I've learned when I reach out and search for it, it will come naturally. I'm so excited to explore life outside of the community because there's a whole ocean of different things to do. It's just you have to get your ass out there and find it. So
I think you mentioned earlier about space or being able to slow down. I think that's what you're talking about now, which you hit a brick wall. Is that what had to burn away for you, or were there other things that you kind of had to burn away to get to this place?
with what I said earlier, the idea of failure. There's a lot of failures in what I do, but I don't see it as the word failure. I see it as opportunity. I think that's something that I've was really in my head a lot as a kid, or thinking I had to be a certain way, or my creativity or my art needed to look like this. But in reality, that failure stumped me from taking it even further and exploring something even greater.
Yeah, that's a great great recontextualization. Failure equals, instead of failure, it's opportunity for growth. And if we all just took that on, like, oh man, I totally just, instead of failed, now have an opportunity to grow. It's like, it's that mindset has completely shifted.
I see it as more of like a road bump now.
That's how you roll with it.
Yeah.
I definitely still have a very big fear of failure, but you remind me that we got to step into it in
Yeah.
order to grow into new spaces.
I think something also as an adult now, after dance and taking class after not dancing for 2 years, you're so trained to think your certain way of learning choreography, for example, and your expectations of what you need to hit for yourself. I used to think if I didn't get this style or I didn't get this piece or whatever, I'm a failure. But now it's like, that's the opportunity, right? Like that's the opportunity to take more class if I want to go down that route and get better at that. And even taking it further, I actually was in Texas for work and I went with my coworkers line dancing. Never did line dancing or line dancing club. My coworkers were like, go out there and do it. I went out there, did not get it. I was like, I could not pick it up. Like I was two-stepping, like, and I was just like, damn, like I thought I could pick up choreo. And I was like, and they're like trying to hype me up to go. And I was like so shy. And I actually stepped off of the floor and not did it. And I was so hard on myself after that idea of failing in a thing that I have been known for, like caught me off guard. And it wasn't until after that trip, I was like, who cares? This is a process of life or where I'm going, but knowing that I could catch that moment in my life where, I'm human, I'm going to feel some type of way all the time. Knowing that you could have completely went down the other way and have fun and be in the moment grounds me and levels me back to being in the present and slowing down and not overthinking of the failure that I could have set myself up if I did continue on the line dancing. So
It's great that you said catch it, because you're really acknowledging how, like, it's normal for people to get into our heads. Like, it's something, as you get older, I almost feel like that happens more often, because now this fear of judgment either, I don't know, it starts to magnify in certain communities
yeah.
sometimes, but you can catch it. It shows progress and it shows it happens. Like, you'll mess up, but you can catch it to be better for the next time.
So you're now a butterfly. You have had some space to slow down. Do you think that rebirth happens in silence, in chaos, or in community?
I actually think it happens with all three. Like, I really believe that silence is so important because to do that inner healing and to be able to grasp your own like emotions before helping others is so important. But to not publicize that is just as important as the chaos. Because without chaos, you're not able to understand the lowest depths of who you are and what you're able to create out of that work, which is what I kind of spoke on a little bit earlier of failure. And then community to be able to value that support system that you it may not feel sometimes when you're in your head, but realizing that there's a whole group of people that love and respect who you are and what you create and what you do. And
And
without
fully
all
support you.
and fully support you without no judgment, I think is the part of going back to the stages of being a butterfly or, stages of being rebirthing yourself is without all three, I don't think you're able to understand the truly evolved self of what rebirth means. I've never ever spoke on my past like this. And again, going to either propel me forward into this next year, um, it's important to know that there's all three of this happening on a day to day, but it's how do you overcome that or how do you get through that finish line with grace, with butterflies, wings.
I love how you incorporated all three
Mm.
into your personal experience. Look at you.
I think we've all said that all three need to happen for rebirth.
But when Austin was answering that question, in my mind, I'm like, all three. Sometimes the chaos is what is also a catalyst for change. Might not be the prettiest. It could be very ugly, but also chaos can be really beautiful too. And like, it could just be it's chaos is actually a very vital part of rebirth.
Before as a kid, I was just living and I'd feel the chaos and think it's the end of the world and like let it affect me on a day to day or week or whatever. But now it's like okay, that's how I felt, or that's what it is. Analyze it, and then let's go on to the next. And that shows maturity in myself that I never had before because I was go, 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 baby. And now I'm like,
I think all of us were a little go, go, go.
I still think I'm pretty go 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 right now though, which
go, go,
I
go, but I'm more intentional with the way I go with things. Like I'm very selective about what I do. I'm very selective with the people that I surround myself with and also the projects that I endure and take in. So being able to know that there's highs and lows within that process is what I've learned that is most important.
Love that you're in a better place after the wall that you hit and that you've grown from that. This next segment is about the collective rebirth. So, the first question here is what lessons from our earlier era deserve to return? Are there things that were better in the past than they are today in the community and dance? What do you think?
I think not having social media a part of what we were doing at the time is a big deciding factor of how we were living life at that era. The
let
reason
us
being
get away
it's
with stuff.
that I guess there is a darker side to this idea, but
It's not dark.
if you shed the light towards what was the best part about that was it was unfiltered connection that you had no judgment to have a community in a space where everyone could understand and connect in the same way. I think is what could be beneficial to the craziness that's happening in this world. So yeah,
I think there was so much intimacy back in the day.
yeah,
Back in the day.
yeah. I, back then it was like you were on one team, maybe two if you were lucky, right? Or you had another team that you were maybe helping out supporting with. And that just also showed how close knit we were as dance teams and companies because we really valued the family aspect.
That's what was so fun about After Party is that we were trying to bridge like a vibe from the old. Why do I keep saying the old days as if this is like ancient? But we're trying to bring back the vibrations and the energy from our community.
Like 15 years ago. I mean,
Yeah,
according to my almost 10-year-old son, we are ancient.
I guess so.
Yeah. He's like anyone 30 and above is ancient. I'm like,
Yikes.
so what about 60? It's like dead.
Yeah.
Also, April, I think we were ahead of our time at that time of era that we were
After
in.
party time?
Yes, after party era, because we didn't see a market for dancers to not only just be in a space where they're just watching a show versus actually creating a space where they could watch the show, but then also enjoy in community with those dancers or people that they look up to as choreographers or whatever, to have that space. So, we were definitely ahead of the trend is what I could say.
Dude, people tell me like I miss the Facebook event page. After party was a vibe. People would be waiting for the next event. And then the pandemic hit and venues shut down and we just stopped. But I think people love the event so much and we're like craving the next one.
And it's also great to see events that are happening in the community out of what we kind of paved
Mm-hmm.
the way for, create their own kind of type of, after party event space too. Again, being able to use community with dancers, with the hype of choreography and showmanship in a space that you can't get from just watching a competition or watching a YouTube video. So
Yeah.
it's great to see that evolution in what we tried to do at that time to what they're doing now.
Yeah, it's like we dance and then get off the stage and
It's
just kick
party
it.
after, why not? Such an easy concept, but we didn't have that. And again, goes back to the core of what we do, April, Cheryl, is like we love creating spaces or environments or events or, that bridge the worlds of every type of person.
Yeah,
Lovely.
totally. I think the key to that is really just the fact that it's all pure acceptance. There's no judgment of who you are and what kind of art you express. It's just a platform for all of us to be able to collaborate it and express it in a new way, right? So yeah, I do miss that.
We
So
all miss it so much. It seems like something's a brewing.
yep,
Something's a brewing.
stay tuned.
You hear it now, guys. You hear it now.
Stay tuned.
So, the vision forward then,
Mhm.
describe your next chapter in 3 words.
I could definitely see if I could describe my next chapter into 3 words, it's definitely exploration. Again, exploring different things that I probably would have never done if I didn't have dance, and also exploring my environment. being stepping myself out of Orange County and really wanting to travel more and really kind of see what that could take me and understanding different cultures. So yeah, exploration is my first one. Organization. I'm very in my agenda organization era. Let me just tell y'all, back in the day as a kid, I used to think I know everything. I had everything in my head. I never wrote anything down. But I think there's power into writing things down. I know it sounds so crazy to say out loud or someone who's never done that before, but that has not only, aside from the organization of remembering things, to put to mind into paper is something I've never done before and has been so healing for me. So exploration, organization, and creation. Something I also want to talk about with creation is choreographing again. I think that's something that I kind of miss about myself that I haven't done in forever, which used to love doing back in the day, but I haven't choreographed maybe since 5 years, 4 years, ideally, and for myself, not for a company, not for a reason, but for myself. So that's something that I'm trying to explore, organize, and create.
Okay. Okay. And so you talk about choreographing.
Yeah.
If you could choreograph or design a piece that embodied rebirth for you, what would that look like?
I was really thinking about this because I was, again, so choreographing was something that I kind of put in the back burner of something that I did and I don't feel like I need to have a purpose. But if I were to ever recreate a rebirth, I see myself like a spotlight in a dark room, just small spotlight on me, but my movement is very restricted within this spotlight. And then as the song progresses, the spotlight starts to get bigger and bigger. And as that spotlight starts to get bigger and bigger, more people start to join the overall
Oh,
image. And as the end of the song reaches, the spotlight is the whole light of the room with my choreography. And as it reflects back to my rebirth journey, that's what it is. My mindset and my choreography was so in my head and so linear of what I was trying to create, but I never created with more intention. So as that time has passed and who I am as an adult is now, I feel like now sharing that with more people is so important to me. So yeah, if I see a rebirth choreography concept video, you're gonna see me in a dark,
Okay.
small spotlight,
I
and it's gonna expand, and then
have
there's gonna be more
chills.
people in that space.
I
Such a
have chills.
butterfly.
Yeah.
Damn, the
Such a
symbolism is
What would be
butterfly.
your
crazy.
song? Like,
No, I
can
do
you
have a
even hear the
song.
song?
It's called
Yeah.
Ooh La La, but it's the Thankful Daily remix by Justine Sky and Kate Renata. I don't know. For some reason, this song and this remix, like when it starts very simple, and then it starts to get really bigger and bigger. And I see myself embodied in this song. I don't know why. I don't even know if I really looked into the lyrics. I just the feeling I get when I hear that song. So
That's all
yeah,
you
You
need.
already have your piece.
Mm-hmm.
You already have it.
I'm
Yeah.
throwing
You
it out
already
Okay.
there.
have
I'm gonna
it.
challenge myself, and I will put out something for myself. You hear it now, but I definitely believe choreographing is a passion that I loved so deeply at such a young age that as an adult I completely missed or threw in the back. But now I'm like, as I'm exploring this new chapter, new rebirth series, and after this podcast of reflecting, it's like, why don't I still do it? Or for myself at least, not even for anyone. So I truly want to challenge myself in this next year for sure.
But sometimes you have to miss it, right? Like
Mhm.
sometimes you have to stop to then realize that you do miss it or you don't.
Cheryl was immediately just like, "What's your song? What? Let's talk about it.
Yeah.
What are you
To
wearing?"
be honest, that was actually a really great question because I forgot who I was speaking to, but speaking to Martha Kwong, which is on Culture Shock in the past 2 weeks, just took David Lee's class last week. And I was like, when was the last time you choreographed? And she said, sometimes I get really in my head and hate the way I choreograph. And I was like, damn, like I could kind of relate to that, like of the inner failures of what you think needs to work and doesn't work. But sometimes like what's most important is the movement itself or the releasing of what you're trying to put for yourself. So I'm interested to see how I could choreograph without any boundaries, as in creating for a set or for a team or for
Mm,
whatever, and
mm-hmm.
just see what comes about, at Austin 20 years later from when I first choreographed my first piece in 2005.
Mm.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I want to see it.
I try I
I do
tried
too.
to do this thing because I haven't choreographed in forever. I tried to do this thing where I would just create like 4 8 counts a day.
Mm,
I tried it and I was like, this shit feels ugly AF
yeah.
after my first day and I
Stop,
stopped.
right?
I said, this is ugly. I'm not doing this again.
Dare
Dare?
to be.
Dare to be ugly.
Yes.
You're right. Dare to be
Yes.
ugly. Sometimes it might be ugly, but sometimes you got to go through the
Yeah.
ugly.
I think that's
Yeah.
something that putting as a goal for myself into this next year is creating without boundaries and not thinking that I need to create a full piece. I've never had this moment to sit down and talk about these things, but again, that's important in order to move forward and important to say out loud the faults or else the best will never show itself. So thank you guys.
Yeah. There's a lot of reflection and a lot of processing going on right now.
Yeah.
It's also really fun. And it's nice to I don't mean it in any kind of like ego stroking way, but it's nice to hear and relive some of the things that, gets forgotten.
Yeah.
Because life happens.
Yeah.
So yeah, when you take us down memory lane, I do get to relive those moments too. So it's a massive acknowledgement of the
Where we
impact
are.
and like where we are, what was accomplished, because I find that in my go, go, go life, I miss the accomplishments. I don't sit and be like, this is the achievement. This is what was accomplished. This is who we did it with. Like being present to that moment. It's always just like on to the next, on to the next, on to the next. What's next? What's next? You miss the acknowledgement of and the fulfillment and the achievement of what was created back then.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
Expand the light, expand the spotlight. Okay, we've got some a very quick rapid fire. What color represents this new version of you?
Before I used to think I was a shapeshifter of colors, of definitely with what I'm feeling, it always changed. But I really believe my color that represents me or a new version of me would be white, to able to fill that, canvas, but also open to being muted and being able to stay clean and simple for my own self and my own sanity. Yeah.
Did you know that white is the color of the divine? It's actually purity. It represents purity. And so how fitting is that?
But surprisingly, black is my favorite color ultimately. I love the duality of dark and light. And I think that also is in my personality. I feel like I have masculine and feminine features about myself that make me who I am today. And so I think though I leaned in the black color for so long, white is such a refreshing take of where I see myself now. So yeah.
Your color was lavender or something like that. Is there a meaning for lavender?
I'm practicing feeling from my heart and not so much thinking and generating from my head. So lavender just was a color that I could feel. So let's try this, Austin. If you close your eyes and then you just take like 3 deep breaths, what is the first color that you see? Just the first color, and don't even think about it.
It's white.
Is it?
Yeah. The reason why I say white too is because when I meditate and I close my eyes and when I purposely feed in white light into my mind, clean, and it's cleansing me.
What about you? When you close your eyes and you take a deep breath,
I
take
felt
3
orange.
deep breaths. Orange?
But I hate orange.
I feel you.
I would
feel
never
you.
choose orange for anything.
Yeah.
But that's the color that I felt. So when you said it, close my eyes.
There's
I
a
don't know
passion with orange though. Like, red. Okay, we should look up these colors after, because there's a reason why. There's some sort of communication when you actually feel a color. It's a communication with the universe. So just keep that in mind. Keep in mind the color.
Okay, next rapid fire question. What sound represents this new version of you?
I don't know. That's a hard question. What
Okay,
sound?
don't think.
Okay.
Don't think. What was the first thing that came to you?
Okay, the first thing that came to me was like a river and rapid water going down from like the mountains down to this river.
Okay.
The sound of water splashing through the rocks and through all that ongoing motion of it and the sound of water is just, I don't know. That's the first thing I thought of.
Okay, so there's something around cleansing and purity for you.
Yeah. Next one. What texture represents this new version of you?
Okay, I see the first thing that came into mind was, like an accordion that zigzag or like a fan that folds. I feel like that is like the texture I feel, this zigzaggy motion, but in the feeling of like it being folded down versus the zigzag itself.
The color of white runs through all 3. Like rapid water is white,
Didn't
and
think
then
about that.
folded accordion. I see it like
White.
a paper, like
Yeah. Like a lantern
like
paper is how.
lantern paper. And so I see white kind of runs through your whole thing.
Mm,
And you've got the flowy and then
mm,
you've got the rigid,
mm,
which is very like juxtaposition. You're black
mm,
and white, you're like
mm,
light and dark.
mm.
It has that element to it. But oh, that's kind of cool.
I feel like you could design an entire line based on all of everyone's colors, textures. This is a show. I could just see you
Like
creating
that's the
this
challenge. Like everyone
entire
throws
show.
you a color, sound, and texture. You create an individual piece, but create an overall line with
It,
that whole idea.
how cool would it be if it was a capsule collection and that was based off of Austin's? And then another
Mhm.
capsule collection based off you, and another capsule based off of whoever. That would be really cool.
Can I ask you, Cheryl, do you sketch still? Is that something that you want to reignite it within? Not even necessarily it has to be made, like the piece needs to be made, but just to put that into motion.
It would be great to start sketching again, but no, I haven't done it in a
Mm,
while. I started getting into music,
mm.
but with time and the limited time that I have, it's almost kind of like I have to pick and choose which creative outlet I'd want to use it. It would be so dope though to actually have that visual. Like every time after a guest, I get to just sketch out a
But don't
collection,
even
a
think
small
about it.
little.
Don't even think you need to make it like just do a sketch of what the feeling of what you took from that with that conversation with us. And then at the end of your whole series, you have a whole collection made that you didn't even think you could make that you could maybe elaborate in the future if you decide to put it to production or to show. So I
Yep,
don't know, something to
that's
throw.
amazing.
It's going back to
That's
what
a
April was saying with the choreography, right?
Mhm.
Something that I not necessarily has to be for something, but just maybe for a counts or an outline, maybe just what you're feeling. That's always been something that sparked your creativity.
It doesn't need
That's
to be a
true.
full out thing. It can be a very just like bleh
Yeah.
of something.
Yeah, that's fun and a little bit daunting in terms of when it comes to homework. I'm like, but also this is accountability and I love it. This is the
Mhm.
accountability to be great. Okay, wait, I had a random question. If you had a superpower, what would it be and why?
I would wish I could fly. I
Okay.
love the idea. As a kid, for some reason, I felt really connected to like the energy of wind and the feeling of brushing wind up against my skin. And I think that's why I'm such a thrill seeker. I love roller coasters. I jumped out of a plane with my dad on his 60th birthday. That feeling of flying is something that I would see myself being able to do because I could fly. And if I'm feeling like crap that day, I could just jump up to the sky and look at my view.
It's such a butterfly.
I'm such
I
a
know. I
butterfly.
was
I didn't
like,
even think about
I could
that.
see a
Damn.
black and white butterfly. Like
Butterfly.
I could see black and white butterfly
Oh,
wings,
yeah.
like really big
Flying over a
ones.
waterfall,
A rushing like
rushing water.
waterfall.
You're accompanied by Cheryl's 22 butterflies. I see you guys all in a painting.
It's like
Okay, so this is a fill in the blank question, Austin. My rebirth is fill in the blank.
So my rebirth is now. My rebirth is now. My rebirth is now. I'm ready to set myself up for what I want. Now after this conversation, as I could reevaluate everything that I said to you guys, it's now. Everything I was telling you is yes, a reflection of the past, but now is the time for myself. And now is my time to put myself first. And now is the time to create change for the better. 3.0 Austin Fernandez.
You said that with your chest. You said it 3 times.
Now, now, now. Put that on the reel. No, but yeah.
3.0.
3.0. I was overthinking this question a lot earlier and simple. It really is now because tomorrow isn't promised. And if I don't make the work or the changes or the evolution for myself now, it's never going to happen.
So then, if you could send a message to your younger creative self, what would you say?
Ooh. If I could send a message to my younger self, I would say everything you're doing is for a greater purpose. Never hold back and never change who you are. Yeah.
We're going to time capsule this.
So we're going to do the rebirth in 20 years.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you for sharing that. That'll be a really great message for, all the people out there, all the young ones out there.
Yeah. When I was younger, I felt like I was doing things without purpose. I was just kind of going with the motion. I always used to think I have to be a certain type of way. But now in my older adult self, like I love who I am and I love who I've become and I never want to change that.
I love that. It's like you are now owning, like
Yeah.
actually owning the message of the other duck. Do you remember it? The part that says embrace that inner other and you will discover that at the right time,
Mm,
your ugly duckling will transform into the beautiful swan in
yeah.
time. Don't force it. Don't avoid it. Embrace it. Be proud of it. It's who you are. Don't let anyone take it away ever.
Love. And it's crazy how this is subliminally been the undertone of my path and all the people who I've met in this journey alongside that of to curate this version of myself today. Honestly, thank you guys to both of you guys, to the other duck. It's been a journey and a pleasure being able to reflect and reconnect with you guys as well as the community who has also supported the other duck. And I look
And
forward to
you,
seeing and
and
myself
you.
too, but also looking forward to seeing what this rebirth looks like and where it takes us.
I love you.
I love you guys too. I love you both.
I'm just so proud of you
Thanks,
and
Shapes.
what you're
Appreciate you.
doing and being able to just find love in not just one area and one passion that you have, but to be able to create this new thing for yourself from, again, the community, events, fashion, dance, directing, creating. I don't know if Paris is still in the cards for you, but gonna give you good vibes for that and all that happens with your careers.
That's one thing I also really proud as I speak out loud about these things is I did that. Like I was able to create a path where I was able to dance fully in the world of fashion and styling and make a career out of both worlds. And even though I ended my 20 years of dance, it doesn't mean it's the end of dance for me. So if anything, it's a new perspective of dance in a completely different way. So yeah, I'm excited to see what that looks like in the upcoming future.
Us too. Yeah.
Thank
Oh,
you
I love
guys.
this.
Love ya.
Thank
Awesome.
you.
Thank you for tuning in and holding space for this return.
The other duck rises again, not as a memory, but as the next chapter unfolding right in front of us. Until next time, stay brave.
Stay honest and yes, dare to be ugly.